please take your seats. Our program will now begin. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome founder and chairman, the New York Forum Institute, Richard Attias.
Monsieur le Président de la République Gabonaise, Monsieur Ali Bongo Ondimba, Monsieur le Président de la République de Côte d'Ivoire, Alassane Ouattara, Madame la Première Dame, Mesdames et Messieurs les ministres, Excellences, chers amis.
First Ministers, Excellencies, dear friends, it is with great emotion that I stand here today for this fourth edition of the New York Forum Africa. And rather than delivering you a speech, I just want to share some quick topics. Aike Choquet is one of the thousands of entrepreneurs and economic stakeholders who succeeded in what we don't hear much about. If he had been a European or an American one, it would have been known better, but he stated something before. He said, talking about his country, Nigeria, it is the only country which has 200 private planes with no national airline, which exports 2 million oil barrels every year, but who has problems of oil in the country, with the first economic power in Africa and a banking system which doesn't work properly. Another person, Richard Turere, 13-year-old. You don't know him. He's a young Kenyan. He doesn't like lions. He hates them, actually. Having said that, this young Maasai imagined an innovative solution contributing to the survival of these animals. Actually, so that they keep away from humans, Richard, who lives near the National Park of Nairobi in Kenya, at 9-year-old, had to keep for the cattle of his family. And each morning, he would find that one cattle had been devoured by a lion. He also realized at that time that when walking with a small light, the lion would go away. And at 13 years of age, he imagined a process with very small LED lights, which he connected to an old battery with that. And this system, which lights that go on and off, for 2 years now, there's not been one lion nearing the cattle and devouring what he was attached to. 2 months ago, we said that 3 countries were to be going out of the map of the world: Guinea, Liberia, and Sierra Leone, because of Ebola. And then, a few days ago, we are told that in Guinea, researchers from this country, helped with international research, have discovered a vaccine against Ebola which works. And that, therefore, Ebola is moving away. And then the last one, when I was thinking about our continent, the Pharaoh's country is in Africa, as you said. But Egypt has not just demonstrated its capacity to dig in 12 months, 57 kilometers of extension of the Suez Canal. There were more than 10,000 workers and engineers, Egyptian. Of course, there was international cooperation there. They took up the challenge, and as you saw, Mr. the President of the Republic, you could see it by yourself because you were at the inauguration of this canal at the beginning of August. I could add on different topics about the life of our continent, but I wanted to start this fourth edition of our New York Forum Africa with these facts to stress what is the most beautiful and more important resource of our continent, which has been neglected for years. It is its own inhabitants, the Africans. And I just want to deliver a message. Africans are optimistic. They are people who know how to invent. They are the true engine. And as you stressed, Mr. the President of the Republic, they are the true energy of this continent. So, dear investors, if there was only one message that I could give to you that you could remember, it's not only concentrating on raw materials, on natural resources, but concentrate on men, women, the young generation of this continent. So we wanted to put here with us all the young generation. Are you still here with us? Yes. In all the sessions of this forum in Libreville, Gabon, since 4 years now, with the New York Forum Africa, numerous projects have been created so that Gabon really becomes an emerging country, following the line of what was decided by the head of state, Mr. Ali Bongo Ondimba, whom I wish to thank for his support. And please welcome him warmly, Mr. the President. Ladies and gentlemen, I don't have so many pleasant stories to tell. He will have to come again after my speech to also, kind of de-stress the atmosphere. The dear President of the Republic of Ivory Coast, Alassane Ouattara, my elder brother, dear presidents of the republics here, Lady Secretary General of Francophonie, former presidents and heads of states, Mr. Prime Minister, ladies and gentlemen, presidents of institutions of the Gabonese Republic, ladies and gentlemen, members of the government, ladies and gentlemen, ambassadors, representing the diplomatic and institutions, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. I would like, before anything, on behalf of the Gabonese people and of the government of the Republic, I would like to thank you very warmly for the honor that you give to us to participate to this fourth edition of the New York Forum Africa. Fourth already. Some of you are here for the first time, whereas for others, it is now familiar looks and faces that I see. To each of you, thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, dear participants, this edition of our New York Forum Africa is held at the moment when our world is facing an international environment and context very difficult. The oil prices are going down, slowing down of Asian and European economies, threats on the environment, and the urgent question of the climate change. All these questions tell us that we cannot wait anymore. We need to act. Africa has traditional partners with whom Africa wants to work with. In any interconnected economy, no country is strong enough to work alone without others. This is why any initiative favoring exchanging and solutions worked together should be pushed forward. Our discussions, our exchanges, all the way through the 3 days duration of our forum, must help us share our know-how, our experience, and to be able to think differently if we want to find sustainable solutions to the problems we are facing. Otherly said, we must dare new solutions. This means that we need to take risks. Risk of not being understood, risk of mistaking. But as we usually say, the one who doesn't fight has already lost. So let us dare and take the risk to succeed together. We must innovate, we must find new inspirations, we must open new opportunities for our companies, for the young generation, and for women. Our responsibility of political leader, of economic and businessman, civil society stakeholders, not only to manage what we have, not only to do what we know how to do. Our true responsibility lies in the necessity to explore new ways of doing things and showing the way for future generations. We must dare moving out from our usual production means, moving out from our traditional economy, some would say, moving out from our comfort zones. This bet that we took, which is to go towards diversified economy, putting in number one, diversification, and putting in place the first material that we have. The first material that we have is not only wood, nor oil, nor manganese. We should talk about the transformation of our mentalities, the way we think and act. These are things that we need to modify and transform. This is why we must bet on the youth. The African continent, as you know, has the youngest demography ever. More than 60% of the African populations are less than 30 years of age. In Gabon, it's 42% of the population with less than 15 years of age. This is the future of our countries, and we have a very peculiar responsibility. We must create the instruments for the young Africans to learn, to train, to invest in Africa. Against such a challenge, this extraordinary challenge, and particularly for countries like Gabon, where the vast majority of the population lives in urban areas, we have to show the way. Investment in youth becomes therefore priority number one. We realized that again this morning during our discussions with young Gabonese and African leaders. I'd like for that thank Mrs. Michael Jean, General Secretary to the Francophonie, and Mr. José Manuel Barroso, former President of the European Commission, who participated besides me to the African Citizens Summit and who could see how strong and energetic our youth is, wants to be an entrepreneur and is awaiting a lot from us, political and economic leaders. This youth must first be well educated and trained. This lies in the responsibility of the states and governments, but also in the hands of any stakeholder within the civil society, companies, sponsors, which have the capacity of doing something. Let me here thank warmly Madame Sylvia Bongo, First Lady of Gabon, who is deeply involved for the youth of Gabon, particularly in the domains of education and health. Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, dear participants,
L'Afrique, il a été dit,
Africa, as was
est un continent
said,
d'avenir.
is a continent of the future.
Tous les secteurs
Each and
d'activité
every
y
sector of
offrent de
activity
véritables opportunités.
has true
Nous devons de les
opportunities. We
saisir
must seize
afin de
such
développer de nouvelles
opportunities
filières,
so
de
that
créer
we can
plus
develop
d'emplois
new
et de créer de
opportunities,
futurs
create
champions.
more jobs and
Nous devons
more
réinventer
champions.
notre approche.
We
dans
must
tous les domaines.
reinvent our
Qu'il
approach,
s'agisse
be
des
it
transports, des énergies
in
renouvelables, de la
transportation and
culture,
renewable energy,
de
in
l'innovation,
culture, in
du
innovation,
numérique, de
in digital
l'agriculture.
industry,
Nous
in
pouvons
agriculture.
et nous
We
devons tout
can and we
réinventer,
must
y compris dans le
reinvent
système
everything.
d'éducation et de formation
And this
professionnelle.
also is true for the
C'est dans ce
education
sens, au
system.
Gabon,
It is
nous
in
continuons
that
à
direction
investir
that we
dans les
keep on
secteurs
investing
diversifiés
in
et porteurs de
diversified
croissance,
sectors
et ce malgré la crise du
who
pétrole.
can bring growth
Nous voulons à
despite
cet
the
égard
oil crisis.
remercier tous
I
ceux qui
wanted to
croient en
thank
nous
all the
et
ones
qui nous
who
accompagnent
believe
dans ce
in us
formidable
and who
challenge
support
de la
us
diversification.
in this true
Parmi
challenge
ces
of
secteurs
diversification.
porteurs
Among
d'avenir,
these
Nous pouvons
sectors,
particulièrement
we
compter sur
can
l'agriculture.
particularly
Par
count
sa
on
forte
agriculture
dépendance
because of
des
its
produits
strong
issus de
dependency
l'industrie extractive.
on
Notre pays a
extractive
connu une très faible croissance
industry
de l'activité
products.
agricole,
Our
ce qui a
country
accentué
has had
notre
a very
dépendance
weak
alimentaire,
growth
puisque
and
nous
therefore
importons plus de
leading
80%
to
des produits
a strong
alimentaires
dependency
pour un peu plus de
on
500 millions d'euros
agricultural
chaque année.
products. We import 80% of our
Notre
products.
ambition,
Our ambition,
vous le comprenez bien, est donc
you
de sortir de cette
understand that,
dépendance.
is to move away
depuis
from
déjà
such a
quelques années,
dependency. And it started a few
constatons
years
avec
ago.
bonheur
We see,
que des
and
produits
I am
gabonais
happy with
commencent à
that, that
remplir les
Gabonese
rayons de
products
grandes surfaces.
are now within
Pour mettre un
the
coup
shelves of
d'accélérateur à
our
cette
supermarkets
volonté
to
d'indépendance
speed
alimentaire,
up such
nous avons
a
lancé
will of
un vaste programme agricole
products and
dénommé
agricultural independence. We started a program
Ce
called
programme
SEED.
vise à cultiver
This program aims
jusqu'à
at
200 000
cultivating,
hectares
growing
dans les 5
more than
prochaines années
200,000 hectares
créer
in the next
autour de 20
coming
000 emplois.
5 years and create
Cet important programme
20,000
agricole sera
jobs.
mené
This
dans le
important
strict
agricultural
respect
program
de nos
will be led in
engagements
the strict
internationaux
respect
en
of our
matière de
international
conservation
involvements
des
in
forêts.
terms of conservation
Pour
of
ce faire,
forests.
nous avons
To do so,
adopté
we
un
have
plan
adopted
d'affectation, un plan
a
national
new
d'affectation des
national
terres
plan
qui s'inscrit dans
of
le cadre du plan stratégique
occupancy
Gabon émergent
of the grounds,
comme
which
le
is within
garant
the
de
emerging
l'équilibre
Gabon
entre
program,
les différents
being
usages de
here
la
to
terre, c'est-à-dire
guarantee the
les
different
exploitations
usages of
industrielles,
grounds
agricoles,
and earth,
forestières,
which is
de
the
même
different
que les zones de développement
exploitations,
urbain,
forests,
les réserves,
agriculture,
etc.
and
Ce plan
the
d'affectation
urban
des terres a pour mission de favoriser
grounding.
l'optimisation
This
et la
aims
valorisation
at
intégrée de nos
optimizing
opportunités
our
dans une perspective
assets and
d'économie
opportunities
circulaire qui accroît
moving
nos performances
towards a
économiques
circular
tout en
economy
atténuant nos
while
vulnérabilités
mitigating
environnementales.
our
Mesdames et
environmental
messieurs, toutes ces
vulnerability.
questions et
Now, ladies and
relatives à la
gentlemen,
diversification
all
de
these
nos
questions
économies, aux
leading to
attentes
the
des femmes,
diversification of
aux
our economy,
aspirations de nos jeunes,
of the
ne
expectations
manqueront
of
pas
our
de
women,
nourrir nos
of
échanges
the
dans les
young
différents panels.
expectations will of course
J'ai
feed
également
the
voulu
discussions
inscrire,
we'll have during our different
cette quatrième
panels.
édition
I also wanted
du
to,
New York
that this
Forum
fourth
Africa de
edition
Libreville,
of New York Forum Africa in
sous l'enjeu,
Libreville, I wanted
sous
to
l'égide
have this
des enjeux
under the patronage
changement
of
climatique.
the climate change.
Je voudrais, à cet égard,
I would therefore
saluer le
like
leadership et
to
l'engagement
salute
du
here
président
the
français
leadership
François Hollande,
and
ainsi que
the
la Cour des
involvement
contributions
of the
américaines
French
chinoises
President François
pour la
Hollande
réussite
and the
de la COP21.
Chinese and American
Cet engagement
contribution
français manifesté
to
de nouveau
the climate
par la
change.
présence
This
dans cette
French
salle de Madame Ségolène
involvement
Royal que nous
is shown
saluons
here
ici,
by the
ministre
presence
de
here of
l'écologie,
Ségolène
du
Royal,
développement durable, de
Minister
l'énergie,
of Ecology,
gouvernement français,
Sustainable Development and Energy of the French government,
représentant donc le président Hollande,
representing
est un
here
encouragement
President Holland.
un
This
encouragement important
shows
pour nous
how
à
much
poursuivre nos
to
efforts dans
us
ce domaine.
we may continue
Nous
our
continuerons à
efforts.
travailler
We
avec
will
détermination
continue to work with
pour que
determination
l'Afrique
so
arrive
that
à Paris
Africa
pendant
come to Paris
la conférence des
during
partis
the
avec des
COP
idées et des
conference
propositions,
with ideas
des
and
initiatives
propositions and initiatives.
pertinentes. Dans ce sens, je voudrais
Relevant
saluer ici les
initiatives.
contributions déjà
I want
enregistrées
here
des
to
pays africains
tell
pour
you
la
about the
réduction
contributions of the
résolue
African
des
countries
émissions de gaz à
to
effet de serre.
drastically reduce
Notre développement économique, notre ambition légitime à
gas
l'industrialisation
emissions.
ne peut occulter
Also
les problèmes
must
posés
look
par le phénomène
at
du
the
changement
problems
climatique.
that climate change poses to us. If for some of our citizens this problematic seems fuzzy, seemed fuzzy a few years ago, the situation has evolved since then, so that when now we see that the international community is looking for a consensus in reducing our gas emissions, greenhouse gas emissions, what we want to do is to help contributing to the global contribution of Gabon to face the shock of the climate change. Our agencies, Attias, in charge of acquiring and treating satellite images, designed to enhance the surveillance of our environment frontier to complete our environment. We also have a law on sustainable development and the law on the code and regulations for development. I wanted this to be looked at during this forum so that the economic and social consequences of climate change be looked at. The future of our continent is very much strictly linked to the challenges I'm talking about, and the solution must be a concerted global solution. We must also look at another very alarming issue, which is the flow of the people which we call the migrants. Of course, this is also a problem to us, and we must bring a global solution. No physical barrier, no wall, no repressive policy can avoid and can make that a human person doesn't want to be happy and wealthy. In any time, any person linked to climate change, to war, to hunger, any person every time has always looked somewhere else, new places to welcome him. It is true from the prehistory, and nothing can stop this. This is a quest for peace, security, and happiness, which is constitutive of any human being. Unless we find adapted mechanisms so that everyone can find on his or her own territory this peace, the security, this happiness, Europe, which is facing the arrival of all those migrants, Europe is right in trying to give a concerted answer to that, which is a true crisis. But no definitive solution, again, will be found without the contribution of the countries where the people go from. This is why here I propose that there be a meeting between Africa and Europe about migrant flows. This could lead to not only imagining new cooperation, but also new legal rules to look at these new relationships. There can be no evolution of business framework without an evolution of the legal rules. Now, just few more words for people who speak only English.
This is why we are hosting for the first time here at the New York Forum Africa, the African Association of International Law, and I take the hereby opportunity to wish a very warm welcome to all of its members assisting their event in the margins of the forum. I must say that this edition of the New York Forum, themed "The Energy of the Continent," has been dedicated to the dynamism of our women and our youth. Ladies and gentlemen, our continent, our heritage, is the theme of the opening session. We have the responsibility to do everything at all decision-making levels, whether it be political, economical, civil society, youth, women, citizens so that our planet is protected, so that our youth find new paths to hope, so that our women, liberated of discrimination, may free their potential. May our debates be intense, covering all these issues and the inspiration to a future that benefits us all. Sur ce, je déclare ouverte la 4e édition du New York Forum.
Having said that, I declare now open the 4th session of the New York Forum Africa. Thank you very much.
C'est marqué MDCB, hein?